What's up, man?
Everything positive, like I say, Flacco, don't be having nothing negative to say. I appreciate you coming on the platform, man. If you can go ahead and introduce yourself to the platform and let everybody know who you are.
I'm OG Bry-Dee, man. 90 Streets of America's Compton, ready. I'm from Compton, California, which is a city in Los Angeles, the county of Los Angeles. I'm from the Carver Park section of Compton, which is Willowbrook area. And I represent a platform that stands for unity amongst anything else, before anything else, amongst us as a people, and to control our own narrative. And that's about it in a nutshell, man. And shoot anything you want to ask me about. I'm
That's
game.
real. Okay, so let's just start off. Where you get your name from?
My name Brian Darnell. When I was
Well,
coming up.
Right, go ahead.
No, go on, ask.
Yeah, but we know your real name, but I was, more talking about your hood name.
Yeah,
How
that's
how
right.
you come up with it?
My name's Bry as in Brian, Bry, and in my ear, now the Crips and flip the script because I'm a Crip. We dogs, sea dogs, basically, but that came afterwards. So I was Bry Dog from the neighborhood, and it's 5 original dogs from my neighborhood, Bry Dog, Dre Dog, Mel Dog, Lee Dog, and Prue Dog. We the 5 original dogs from the neighborhood, and that was my tag, Bry Dog. And as I got older, because my name Brian Darnell, I just modified it to Bry-Dee, because that's more appropriate to me. A lot of people call me Bones, but Bry-Dee also, so that's the handle I go by.
That's real.
First and middle name.
Got you. So I know your history, but the people might not know it. So if you could go ahead and just give a little a short breakdown of your time in the streets.
All right. Let me see. It's a little tricky there. Well, I've been an active part of my neighborhood, for 40 plus years. Initially became involved in the street when we all knew each other first and last names, knew our mothers first and last names. It was a completely different ball game from what it is today. 7th grade, literally on up, most dudes in Southern California in that area, you chose a side of what you was going to be from, whether you were a Crip or a Blood or a Kiwi or a Damu, as we say in Swahili. I was a shooter from my neighborhood. I was one of the top shooters for X amount of years, unfortunately. I hit prison at the age of 17. Came home in my mid-20s, hit all the heavyweight joints, the gladiator schools and what have not. Became real deeply involved in the drug culture in the streets because I was embraced, as the saying goes, when I came home, and accumulated ghetto fabulous money, ghetto quality money. And chronologically, I was in my mid-20s, but mentally I was still 17, so I was still picking up that pistol. You couldn't mix the two. And subsequently went back to prison, shooting 2 dudes, in front of the police. Didn't realize police was there. But I had long money. The cats basically said they'll kill me on the streets, and they lived up to their word. They attempted. I was shot in 86. I was shot in 87. I was shot in 88. I was shot in 90. And I was shot in 93. So I've had my share of give and take. I've been beat up, put on my back, the whole 9 yards, stabbed up, hit by cars. But I've done my share of tribalism damage too in the community. And now I'm at a stage where I'm full circle, where I'm in the process of equating all the negativity with at least 5 years of positivity directed towards my community. And my community starts with Compton, yet encompasses all areas of the United States that are melanated people. So that's my journey. I just did 18 years straight in the field, which I'm not glorifying. Mine is airplane going over right there by the airport and the beach.
Right. Yeah, we definitely hit that.
So, and in my journey to get to where I'm at now, I'm collegiately educated. I got 4 degrees. I have a degree in business, I have a degree in social behavior science, another degree in American studies, and another degree in humanities.
That's real. So while you were locked up, you got all them different degrees.
Well, I had a conversation with myself roughly 10 years ago, you know, and I think every human being, the best time in the world is a long time. So I set up and told myself, you know, hey man, what you gonna do? You know, because I've often said, you know, I'm a very intelligent man, just a dumbass crook. And people ask me, how can you apply the term dumb to yourself? Well, if you keep doing something that's not working, bruh, you got to be the sharpest marble in the batch. You got to be the smartest dummy it is. And I got tired of being the smartest dummy. So I set myself up mentally, and I told myself something 5 times a day that I'm going to succeed when I come home. And I told myself this every day for 10 years straight on the latter part of my 18 years that I was gone. And I started manifesting second, you know, it became second nature to manifest what I put in the mix in those 10 years of just telling myself this. So,
So you had a plan and you stuck with it. That's excellent. So what changed? What was the changing point in your life where you say, man, I'm finna, change and I'm finna get on a positive tip. You know, I'm tired of this lifestyle. I'm tired of going to prison. You know, what was that moment in your life where you had epitome and you just realized that you had to change for the better?
well, I'd always placed, and most of us in California Department of Corrections place emphasis on education. Academics had always been a high priority for us as keyways. Yet it didn't stop our it didn't deter us from pursuit of criminal structure, criminal organizations, meaning street life. But what me was, I had initiated being in pursuit of my collegiate degrees, and then my son was killed in 2013, who was following in my footsteps. He was killed at the age of 18 as a result of that. And so, you know, I sat and had a conversation with myself. You know, I said, man, you have other sons, man. Is this what you want of your children? You know, already you MIA. You know, even though I was writing my sons in the event of letters, in the event of this or in the event of that, this is how you handle the situation that you encounter. But still, that's not a hands-on, but it was a great catalyst to making them who they are today. Yet with my one son, he and I communicated every day, you know, via emails, because in the feds you have emails. And it just hit home like, damn man, look at your senseless legacy. Now look what your senseless legacy is brought about because your son wants to be your little homie from the set and following your footsteps. And the ripple effect of it was he wouldn't have been around what he was around if he wouldn't have been trying to follow in your footsteps. So that was a contributing factor to me of it takes a village to raise a child, which is our adage that European Hillary Clinton tried to steal. And the village is your son, whoever's on this platform, son, if he's looking at me. So it's time for me to step up to the plate and contribute to being a part of the village, man. And that's the realization I came to
That's
when I lost
good.
my son.
Man, rest in peace to you, your son, man. I mean, with that being said, do you denounce cripping because your son was part of that and he got killed by that culture? Do you denounce it?
This is what I say, man. Carver Park Compton Crips are my foundation. The universe is my destination. I'm gonna explain something to you about us on the West Coast. They put us in what's called a database computer. We're in that computer for 30 years. They just put me back in it again in 2003. So that means I don't get out of the joint to 2033. So say you and your wife are driving up the street and bash me and my wife in the car. And I get out the car and say, damn, dude, what's up? And my wife gets out a little banged up and you call her any kind of negative words and I fire on you and break your nose, right? You fall down
That's
and
right.
cheat. Well, because I'm in that database computer, I get the gang allegation on me. I might get 25 years to life simply for the gang allegation for assault with intent to commit great bodily injury or attempted murder on you. I'm going to get a life sentence only because I'm in that database computer as a Carver Park Compton Crip. So therefore, with that being said, the stigma is still going to be on me. Now, as far as denouncing my neighborhood, I'm not denouncing my childhood friends because we were friends. You know, like I got a homeboy named Droopy from my neighborhood. Homeboy Droopy did damn near 16 years flat in the feds and had to, went home. When I came home, he kept me on point every day, calling me. That's a friend. My homeboy LV, that's a friend. He did 33 flat. He works with all the homeless now. When I came home, he stayed on my bumper every day. My homeboy Westbrook, my homeboy Fred Mac. These are my friends before they were my homeboys. So to denounce my neighborhood would be to denounce them. What I don't do is I don't subscribe to the criminal element of my neighborhood. If you're doing what you're doing, it's not my business. Let me get away from you. And my spiel is, my name is Bry-Dee Berkeley Sr., 28208-112, a.k.a. OG Bry-Dog, a.k.a. Bones Low. I'm on federal probation. What you're talking about and doing is illegal, so let me get away from you. That's it. But it's still Carver Park. Because, see, I went to the school my father went to, and my sons went to the school I went to. So it's not multi-generational gang membership. It's multi-generational foundation in that neighborhood.
That's real. That's right. So, with that being said, what's your outlook on snitches?
Okay. I used to line my sons up when somebody did something. And I say, who did it? So the ones that snitched, they're the ones that I took off on. The one that did it, he got the pass. So I instilled in my boys, don't snitch. All our lives we heard about tattletales. Nobody at the workforce likes the office snitch. No one likes it. Even the police, they so complicit to things that they do to us in our community because they refuse to snitch. Okay, now, with that being said, all these dudes who be running around with these dudes who told and say he didn't tell on me, he getting money. What do you think's going to happen when you get caught up? What do you think's going to happen when he gets caught up and he knows about what you're doing? I think that anyone that associates with a snitch is complicit. And if you don't know what complicit means that they agree with, I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking about your audience. They mean that they agree with the telling. See, because the dude might not tell on you that he's running with, but you know he didn't told on somebody before, so he's going to tell on the next man. So you complicit, you cool with that. So you a rat too. So anybody, and it's no separating business. Oh, this is just business, man, because now you compromise your integrity. It's a major difference if you've never been involved in the street life. But if you've been involved in the street life and you associate yourself or conduct business with them, then not only are you lower than a pedophile to me, which is the lowest thing on the totem pole, you are lower than a snake's belly. Because if you have street origins, you know, don't associate with that dude. All money ain't good money. There's not enough money in the world. And for all the tea in China, I wouldn't associate with him. If you're not going to do something, which I'm not going to say on here, get away from him. Don't have any dealings with him. That's what I feel about them. And whoever associates with them. Because when I was in the street, like my brother would have turned into one of them. At the stage I was at in the streets, I would have knocked my own brother down.
That's real. One of the people watching said, "What about Mob James? They seen you with Mob James. Isn't Mob James a snitch?"
Well, this is where I stand on that. I'm not gonna have anything to do with him any longer. That's one. Two, I've not read anything. Three, he's no longer on that platform, so that speaks volumes, right? Four, I was locked up with FG and another one of his homeboys, and FG's a solid dude to me, but I ain't read nothing. So, the cautious man that I am, if I see you on this side of the street, I'm getting on the other side of the street. That's all it is, man. You know? So I can't sit up here and say, dude ain't no good, because I've not personally read anything. But when you shake them dice and you lock them in your hands and you know it's going to roll on that 7 because they some T's, that's what we call loaded dice. You pretty much know the outcome of what it's going to be and the writing on the wall because the way you holding them and locking it. Well, if he doesn't have his platform any longer, what does that really mean? A logically thinking individual has the question, why doesn't that man have Gangster Chronicles any longer?
That's right.
Why has that man produced something contrary to what has been the allegations? Why hasn't that man done what all street dudes are allowed to do, even if you're no longer on the streets? Do what you're going to do to the person who put the allegations on you. What you green lighted in the code that we come from. whether you are affiliated with a organization, a gang, or anything of that nature. If you have any type of street ties, there's a certain code that you are green lighted to do if certain allegations about you aren't true. I'm not advocating violence. I'm
Right.
simply stating. So that should, through the thin lines, say where my stance on that.
Understood. So I mean, but did you have any knowledge, even the allegations, when you met him? Like, did you know anything about it when y'all was together? Like when y'all was on the video? Cause I seen you doing a video with it was you, him, and Raymond Washington daughter.
Raymond Washington, Raymond Washington, the founder of the Crip Structure's daughter. Okay, prior to that, I hadn't known him. I knew his reputation because the man has a hell of a street reputation. We're in the same league, just on opposite, as far as being shooters. I ain't a fighter. I'm a shooter. He's a fighter too. Anybody know me? It wasn't no strike beating me up because the aftermath was vicious. I came through with that thumper and handled my business. I was one of them kind of cats, but I didn't duck that fade. I just wasn't a fighter. Man, look how fucking skinny I am, man. I still got 11-inch arm, man. Imagine what I had when I was 16,
That's
but
right.
I wasn't ducking, but you hit me in my chest, I'll be on my back. Hell, so pick up the pistol and get it over with. But with that being said, it was my first time meeting him, and I didn't even know he was going to Texas. And it was like, and I told him, yeah, I've heard about you, since I was about 15, 16 years of age. And because he was out there doing what he do from his side.
Mm-hmm.
And I had heard a little, but I didn't know him by the moniker Mob James, as far as being tied in with the allegations of not being right.
Mm-hmm.
The name that I had heard was James from Looters. So, because what a lot of people don't understand is it's Looters Park's Pyru, and now it's the mob. But the mob was originally Looters Park Mob, just which was a clique per se of, like the analogy I could use would be you have vice lords, you have unknown vice lords, you have traveling vice lords. So they just off of vice lords. So the mob
That's
was
right.
for Looters Park, right? So, and then now they dropped Looters Park, period, and they just the mob now. Now they're just the mob. But so when you hear, James from Looters, you don't associate Mob James of Looters Park Mob with
Right.
that individual because people have a variety of names from different structures, as we know.
That's right.
You can have a homeboy named Stevie, and then you can have another homeboy named Stevie Loke, and they two different people. So I didn't associate it like that with him. Nah.
Okay, I got you. So, I heard you mention vice lords and things of that nature. That's a lot of that's from the you being from the West Coast. How you ever came across Midwest organizations and people like that?
Well, when I initially came to the feds, I went to USP Terre Haute when it was a regular spot. Let me put clarification on that now. If anybody out there that calls themselves a part of the streets, anything of that nature, and a person told them they just got out of USP Terre Haute today, or starting from 2016 forward, run away from them. They're either a dropout, a snitch, a pedophile, or a sexual predator. That's the only people they house there. But in 2000, from initially when it opened until 2016, it was still a regular spot. So initially in 2006, I went there. And when I got there were only like 3 Californians on the whole compound and 12 Crips, period. And I was running the Crip car, so I had to take a crash course. And with our governors, with our institutional coordinators, with our board members, with our 5-star elites, 3-star elites, princes, and so forth of the different structures, I had to find out what a traveling vice lord was, what an unknown vice lord was, and I think they had something called maniac, something like that nature. I had to learn what a BD was. I had to learn who King David was. I had to learn who Larry Hoover was. I had to learn how it went from BGD to GD to BDs, and so on and so on and so on. And by me being in charge of other men whom I had to think for and make sure they were safe on my watch, I met everyone. And my tightest partner became Larry Hoover's original co-defendant, a guy named Dee. And I'm a nerd inside, and we play Scrabble together every single day. So I built the bond, and the GDs are what we call our unofficial cousins. You know, GD's got Crips backs and Crips got GD's backs. But to the degree of this, if you were a GD and you got into something, I'd tell you, hey man, something over in that corner. I don't know how I got over there, but it's over there, and it'd be a weapon for you to protect yourself. But I'm not going to outright hand it to you. But then also, it could be 5 guys jumping on you, and I can accidentally slip with my weapon and stab one of them in the neck on accident. I didn't mean to do that. So I assist you. So, but overall, when I was in Terre Haute, GDs, Vice Lord Stones, El Rukins, and even Latin Kings had a coalition, and they still have a coalition. So a lot of them kids running amok in Chicago don't even realize on the streets. You little homies might be going crazy on the streets, but you want some structure when you go up in there, because that's very structured organizations, from the GDs to the BDs to the Vice Lords to the Stones to the Latin Kings. And you're going to answer to someone if you create havoc out there, and if you hurt the wrong person. They're waiting on you. They are waiting. And you're going to get what you ain't looking for, because you can't beat numbers. And you probably will be in Terre Haute, because that's a dropout spot, the PC spot now. You know, so that's where I met all the, and you know, I met all the cats who were in positions of power, a lot of the board members, a lot of, like I said, the 3-star elites, because those are the only people I dealt with, you know, because they were the heads of their structures and I was the head of my structure. So this is who, whenever anything occurred, I'd have discussions with.
That's real. I mean, so how would you describe Dee? You know, being your player partner. You know, when y'all be playing them different games and things on that board. How would you describe him?
Old man Dee, he was a motherfucker, boy. That's my man, boy. That was my man. He was an overall consultant for the whole environment, because a brother named Crusher had the spot, a younger brother. But Dee was the one you had to consult with. Literally before anything happened there, from my understanding, I may be wrong, and any GD can correct me, and I apologize if I'm stepping on your toes, getting in your business. But they had to consult with Dee. All he wanted to do was play Scrabble. This is how much juice Dee had. I had operation on my C3, C4, and a CC, C5 vertebrates in the back of my neck. So I had a big ass brace on like this, and I was the only California Crip in my building. Dee gave explicit instructions. You were to be with him at all times. I did not leave that building my entire recovery, because people were bringing me food, and not, I had a contract with the food guy. So wherever I went, it was 2 GDs with me, per Dee instructions. If I went to shower, they went to the shower. If I got on the telephone, they were at the telephone, because I had to turn my head like this. You know, so how I would describe Dee, my life was in his hands.
That's real. That's definitely real. So that was one of your closest partners up in there.
That was my tightest, the entire Terre Haute. And I'm the type of man that when I came home, I look out for guys. Dee didn't need nothing. Politics of them, but Dee didn't need a damn thing but freedom.
That's real.
You know, so I didn't have to reach out to him like I've reached out to other brothers.
That definitely will. So I mean, so when you got out, what was the first thing that after doing all that time? What was the first thing, bro?
I didn't catch you, Flock. I didn't catch you say what? I've been out what?
Yeah, I hear an airplane. No, I was saying when you got out the federal institution, what was the first thing that you did?
Well, I'm gonna say it now. They let me out June 21st of 2020 for a year's halfway house. I was supposed to get to the halfway house on the 24th. I flew home. Okay. And the first thing I did was give my penis a party.
Okay.
All right. That was already set up for me. And then second day, my homeboy, then I spent time with my children. And I took each one of my children in a room, and I apologized to them for being married to the streets as opposed to being married to family-wise to them, and told them anything you call me, say to me, get it off your chest now so we can move forward. Because ketchup going french fries and makeup going clown and women, and your daddy ain't a clown, he ain't a woman. But we can start from this point forward. All of my children said the same thing. Man, we're not tripping that. Let's just go forward our lives. And I hadn't went on my mother's house yet, but I already had my car waiting on me. I had all my clothing and everything, everything that a man needed after 18 years, I already had it, So I reported to the halfway house. And 3 days later, I went and got my driver's license. They let me leave. And somebody seen me and walked up on me and said, "Hey, what's up? You just touched down?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I said, "I got you a job." And that's the first job I ever had in my life. With the exception of when I was 14, I had a job at a place and I turned around and robbed them 2 weeks later. And so I don't know the whole purpose of getting a job at that age and that stage of my life. So then I went to my mother's house. And I'm here, Ma, you know. And
That's real.
my homeboy LV taught me how to do the automated self-checkout, things of that nature, because I left the feds with a card with X amount of money on it. So did that, and that was it. Literally, when I first came home, went and visited my father and my siblings, and from that point forward, it just was all about working. And then 6 months into the halfway house, I caught COVID. But because of the pandemic, when I came home, no one had to pay any money to the halfway house. So I had got a job at Toyota making 5 racks of money after taxes. So I just was stacking on top of what I had, stacking. Then when I caught COVID, they let me go to my father's house. I went there for 30 days. Fortunately, this is how the hustler guys shine down on you when you're doing right. He lives in what you dudes in Illinois called the Ops, but we call them in California the Enemigos. I seen a couple of them that were my age that I had pretty much gunned down when I was in my teenage years. Luckily, one of them, who hadn't been in this neighborhood in months, stopped by that night, and they were discussing putting my head on a platter. And he called me at work, got my telephone number, said, "Hey man, them guys know you around there, and they told one of the young homies to run up on you and knock your noodles out when you're getting out your car." I said, "Yeah." That same day, I got a text from my case manager at the halfway house saying you can move into your apartment. And I went straight to my apartment that I already had secured. And I went on for a year. And the money I stacked at Toyota, the 5 racks a month that I was making, plus other additional funds that I had. See, I'm not a miser, I'm just wiser. And I respect the dollar now. This is when I was younger, I didn't respect it because it came in so, like that. And I did what I had to do, man. I moved into my joint, man, out on the beach. And that was my first spot, post prison. And it felt good, man, that I got it legally. So that was my journey. And then I subsequently left Toyota, got a job working with the homeless, and saw that was like my niche. Then I got another job working with the homeless, and I worked 16-hour days, and now I'm where I'm at now.
Wow. Man, I take my hat off to you. At the end of the day, you made a change, a 360 change, and you did, what you had to do for yourself and your family, man. And, man, I know it was heartfelt or heart touching when your sons and daughters accepted you back in their life and didn't want to hold nothing against you. I know that meant a lot to you.
Yeah. But see, I was always the type of father that, to show you something, man, that men don't realize. One of my sons had told my mother when I failed, he was like 7 years old, right? He's 27 or 28 now. And he said, my dad came to 11 of my football games. I didn't even realize I went to 11 of his 16 of his football games. I just knew I'd be with the homies. I was like, oh shit, my boy got a game today. Let me shoot to his game. And I'd, go up in that stand and he'd see me. And after the game, I come, good game, son. I didn't spend that much time with him, but I didn't spend quantity time. I spent quality time. I made impressions upon my children, even though I wasn't with their mothers. And I shared children with 4 different women. But I made it my business to pick them up from school, to tell their mother, I'm taking the boys to school this morning, or I'm taking the girl to school this morning, and I push over in my vehicle and do it, and while I'm pushing, I talk to my kids. So it left an impression on them, So it was basically, my children unfortunately grew up in high school and junior high school knowing who I was in the streets. They knew, because men would come up to them like, hey, this from your daddy. Tell him his uncle such and such gave you this. So my children grew up with not an abundance of shit, but of people. They moms asking, Mom, who is these men that be coming up to us? And those are your father's friends. Because I was a good homie. See, I was the type of homie that if you fail, I went and took pictures of your son. I sent you money. I went and threatened that girl and told her you're going to take his son or daughter over to his mama's house. And I threatened her with this in my hand, and they knew I was a madman in them streets. So I was the type of homie that I looked out for homies because I knew this was a part of our lifestyle. And anybody out there listening to this, I want to tell you, tough ass young dudes, that I'm not preaching to you. Get as much pussy as you can get, excuse that, ladies. Kill as many as your so-called tough enemies because you're doing the community a service, because they gonna kill just like you gonna kill, and they gonna hit innocent bystanders because y'all don't believe in walk-ups. Learn to masturbate unless you gay. When you get to the county jail or whatever facility, stab as many people as you can stab as tough guys. So when you get to the penitentiary for your first few years, stab as many dudes as you can stab, and then say to yourself, this is it. But before you do any of that, go sit in your bathroom for 24 hours and ask you want to sit in the bathroom for the rest of you. That's what I tell you, tough guys. Because I sat in the bathroom for 12 years without a cellmate, and I was like, if I didn't have a strong constitution as a man, I'd be a nutcase.
That's real. That's definitely real. Everybody needs to take heed of them wise words. How when you were sitting in the cell and all them years you did did you ever have remorse for the people that you returned back to the essence, or the people that that you murdered?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But damn, I'm laughing about that's nothing to laugh about. But no, what that was is I used to say to myself that, okay, I went after reputables, and reputables came after me. And I was like, shit, he was banging like I was banging. He was a shooter. He got bodies under his belt or whatever, right? And then I took what's called a trauma course. And it introduced me to what's called the ripple effect. I may have did all this to your homeboys, and then you do it to me and I'm gone. But the ripple effect is my mother, my children, that girl who I was involved with, the people who looked at me as a good person, my grandparents, my aunties. So it's forever scarred them. So it wasn't just a victimless crime of a gang member killed a gang member, or a lower form of tribalism. It's a lower form of tribalism perpetrated against another tribe. So that made me have an understanding, of the trauma. Yet, I'm a firm believer in when the sperm hits the egg, we're going to leave this world as we know when we're going to leave it. So whether it was that my hand was the result of your demise, you would have had a brain aneurysm that day. You would have had a heart attack. So that old saying that it's his time to go or her time to go, I believe in that. But I don't believe in that as justification of committing an act against a person. But I do believe, it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, that sounds oxymoronic, but it's just my belief that you're going to leave this world as we know it when you're going to leave it. So because of all the negativity I put down in my community, I'm dedicating the next 5 years of my life and leave with my 5-year plan, my exit plan, should the creator, she and he, allow me to live that long. I'm dedicating 5 years of my life to my community. To equate for all to balance out my yin and yang, not only for personal, but for the community at large. Because what you put out is what you receive.
That's real. That's definitely real. That my hat off to you for that. Trying to make a change in the community. With so much violence going on throughout the country, cities and these communities, especially even where you at. You out there in Compton in California. How do you plan on changing the dynamics in the community? You got Bloods on Bloods, you got Crips on Crips, Crips and Bloods, Mexicans against Blacks. Like, how do you plan on making a change in your community and out there where you at?
My first step is getting with a brother named Bodacious, who's co-founder of Compton Neighborhood Crips. And he's my G homeboy. He's older than me. He's first generation. He's putting together a solution that we're going to approach the young kids in the neighborhood. If he incorporates me, not if he is going to incorporate me in it. And we're going to tell them, let's make the parks out of bounds. The parks are neutral zones. Even if it's 50 of your so-called enemigos or ops in there, the children are in the parks. So let's make the parks out of bounds. Wait till they walk away from the park if that's what you feel you must do. I'm not advocating violence, but if that's what you feel, but don't do it at the park. So once we I'm not going to say if, because if my aunt had a dick, she'd be my uncle. All right. So I'm going to say once we get all the different tribes to agree that the parks are out of bounds and the children go back to the parks, that's a major step. Because once you can get them to sit down and agree that the park's out of bounds for the sake of the children, then you can get them to understand, oh, by the way, the dude that you killed, when you go to the penitentiary, his homeboys are your allies. And it's the same thing in Illinois. That GD, that BD, that Vice Lord, that Stone, that whatever you got going on, or them cliques of this, that, or another, when you're gunning each other down, when you go to the joint, you're up under a coalition where all of you rock as one.
That's real. And a lot of people need to know that.
Yeah, and a GD can catch a violation per something that a Vice Lord seen him do, or a BD seen him do, and report it to the correct authority figure over here, and he'll get a pumpkin head. He'll get a mouth shot. And it's the same vice versa. And it's like, how is my op, as they say in Illinois, going to go tell on me and get me a pumpkin head? Because you fall up under the coalition, the same structure. As far as Keyways and Damus, which is Crips and Bloods, when you go to our joints, we have a loosely fitted alliance because it's a cultural thing. As far as Crips killing Crips, when you go to the joint, you fall up under the same umbrella. All that shit is left on the streets. Now you're doing the rest of your life real tight with a dude who homeboy you in there for flipping. Don't make no damn sense. So once you can get the parks back, and you can start pointing out to these dudes, and then you can have the homies that are incarcerated, that are forever dates, well, as we say Chinese letters, which is one gone. We say it like that, one gone, W-1-O-N-E-G-O-N-E, one gone for the rest of his life. So when you get that Chinese letter, that one gone, that all day, that washed up, and now me and you, and here it is, I'm from Carver Park, and you could be a bounty hunter who's been our traditional enemies before the Crips and Blood thing, and me and you taking a picture together and send it to the homies. It's like, damn, he in there for killing the bounty hunter. Damn, that bounty hunter in there for killing the Carver Park, and the two homies is kicking it. We like this because we got forever in here now. We have life, LWOP, life without the possibility of parole. So once we can start sending pictures like that, but we have to take the baby step first, then maybe to start becoming an eye opener of increasing the peace, man. You know, I'm not saying you gotta go fight and hang out together on the streets or this, that, because there's gonna always be things in a criminal structure. There's gonna always be some type of rivalry. That's just the law of the land, whether it's Crips and Bloods, GDs and Vice Lords, 129th Street and 174th Street. There's gonna always be some form of tribalism. So that's not gonna be eradicated, but to slow it down to nearly a standstill is a possibility that can happen in my lifetime and in the next 5 years.
That's real. How you seen a brother by the name of CripMac?
I'm supposed to interview him tomorrow.
Okay. Hey, well, if you interview him, tell him, hey, Flacco said, what's up, man? You know, keep it 55th Street. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk.
I tell kids you fight me, you know, he's a character.
Yeah. So I mean, and I'm asking about him because, you know, it just went viral. He just had a situation where he just got disciplined. You know, they found out years ago that he was part of something else. You know, was you aware of that? Have you been keeping up to date with what's going on with him?
Okay, what I'll say on that, because you have to tread lightly on neighborhood business, because I'm from Compton, even though neighborhoods are our allies, right, to a certain degree. They made it not neighborhood business when they allowed it to go viral. So this is what I can say on it. First up, he's a stand-up guy. I think he's stronger than 95% of them dudes out there that call themselves clicked up based on the fact that he got dropped off in this turf knowing that he had a DP coming. He was like, I'm front and center. Here it is, break it. That's the first thing I say about him. Stand-up young man. You know, as far as in that lifestyle. He's a very young man. That he would be a dude if I was in that lifestyle. It could be me and him going to the movies knowing we got to go through 15 different enemy hoods. But we okay, because I know he gonna got my back like I got his. That's real. That's what his street character is indicative of, and he stood on that. Now, when this thing first started with ours, it said from the east came the west, followed by Compton, Raymond Washington, Big Tookie, Mac Thomas, Salty. That went. Raymond Washington started on the east side of Los Angeles. He went to the west side. Big Tookie took the mantle over there. When it came to Compton, it went to Mac Thomas, Big Salty. When it came to Watts, I believe it went to head honcho of great of Jordan Downs. If I'm correct, I can stand to be corrected on that, but I'm quite sure. I'm like 99% sure. So with that being said, at that time it was just East Side Crips, West Side Crips, Compton Crips, Watts Crips, literally. So you could find your way going from section to section. I could be a Compton Crip and say, man, I think I like the way the West Side Crips rock. So now I could turn into a West Side Crip. So it just went from section to section. So what CripMac did is, in his mind, he was destined to be a Crip. And the fulfillment of being accepted by 5-5, and that is his tribe, it fulfilled that destiny in his mind, of his mindset. So he went from this tribe to that tribe to that tribe, or this section to that section to that section. In one section, he tried to create of his own, which was a non-existent section called the Gator Somethings, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So, and he found his home at 5-5. So when a neighborhood accepts you, they accept all the luggage. As long as you're not a pedophile, a snitch, or a mark who ran out on the homies, then when your neighborhood accepts you, they accept you and all that comes with you. So he found his niche in 5-5. That's where he's from. And he's well respected by a lot of G's from the stance he took on accepting what he had coming to him, which in my personal opinion was foul. It was haterism. He making a little change. Literally, he's the face of that neighborhood, even though that neighborhood has been around. Literally, he's global into that neighborhood. So if anything, he's the bag. Nothing's supposed to ever happen to him. It should have been investigated. Man, this shit happened when he was 16, 17 years old. My man is 27 years old now. Man, that was before he was from the set. Hell, I went to prison at 17. I came home in my mid-20s. I saw a dude. I was about to up on him. I'm about to knock him down. Wait, who's with me? Grab my hand. Like, cuz that's whoop-de-whoop. He said, cuz that's whoop-de-whoop. Now, the name he said, I've been hearing all while I was in the joint. This dude is tearing things up out there for the set, right? He is the motherfucker from the set. I'm looking forward to meeting this cat. What it was is he was one of our enemies that turned to the set. So the hood accepted him, knowing he was from the other side, and he came to the set. And when he came to the set, he became one of our top guys in that lifestyle. Not with these, with this, and with this. And he was a beast. So you dig what I'm saying? So the homies accepted him for what he was. But when he came to us, he became one of us. I didn't know that was him. So when I saw him in our hood, I was ready to do what I do. And to the homie in light that he has a different name from our set, that was his name from when he was from the enemy set. And so it took me years to accept him because he was a rival of mine. And we were in the same league per se as far as shooters, you know. But then when I accepted him, it was like, you know, no one's bigger than the set. So I had to accept him. I didn't have to like him. I didn't have to. You know, outwardly, I'd always had the appearance of accepting him because we have structure. So that was that. You dig what I'm saying? So by CripMac going from here to there to there, the neighborhood core accepted him. Not only 5-5s, 5-7s, 5-8s, rolling 60s, rolling 90s, rolling 40s, the rolling 100s. Those are all neighborhoods. The East Side, which are the East Coast core, they're neighborhoods. There are plenty other neighborhoods in Los Angeles. I don't know which ones have turned neighborhood, which not. I heard the Legends turned neighborhood. I don't know if that's true. I heard that the Gear Gangs turned neighborhood. I don't know if that's true. I heard the Schoolyards turned neighborhood. I don't know if that's true. I heard the vast majority of Los Angeles Crip gangs, with the exception of Main Streets and the gangsters, have all turned neighborhood. So by him being a 5-5 in hood, that means all the other neighborhood cars accepted him as a 5-5 in hood. So he's in the neighborhood car. He said he had 17 fades in the county jail. That means he had 17 fights as a neighborhood. So DPing him for something that happened 10 years ago, that sounds like a little bit of hatred right there, man. In the grand scheme of things.
That's real. Yeah, man. You know, when I seen it, I just, you know, I didn't want to, I didn't want to see, what you were going to say because, I ain't from the West Coast. I'm not sure how the West Coast politics go, but I do understand how brothers, can flip from a different organization, it'd be penalties for that at the end of the day. But, I do also know, he still was, ain't like he was a blood and then flipped to a Crip. You know what I'm saying? Like that's totally that I would think that would be worse than a Crip going to another Crip state. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, let's jump to your section. We've had vice lords turn into GDs when they were 15 and 16 years old, and vice versa.
Right.
We had dudes that were 14 years old, and mama moved from the wild hundreds over there to Lawndale.
That's right. I'm from the Wild Hundred. Shout out 10 Trey. Real talk.
Okay. And he 14 years old, but he about his business. But now he had a couple of fist fights, and now they don't want to kill him. They want to turn him out. They said, we're going to turn him out. We're going to make him from the set. Watch. And now all of a sudden, he's a vice lord. And when he go back through the wild hundreds, they thinking he's still one of the guys. And he turned around and dump him out and say, I'm whoop-de-whoop, vice lords. But he changed before he was 16 or 17 years old. So in a way, it's a thin line that's sort of acceptable of, damn, you used to be a Damu when you was 12, 13, 14, or you used to be a Kiwi when you was 12, 13, 14. Now your mama, they moved into the heart of their neighborhood. So you got to think, am I going to get flipped? I'm running with these dudes. Am I going to kick it with these dudes? I like this dude's sister. Me and this dude is cool. And now he didn't turn me out. Some of the homies going to be standoffish till you go do what we do in that lifestyle. And then when they see that you with the business, they ain't forgot all about you. Used to be a Crip. To one of them get mad somewhere down the road, who get jealous of you and say you used to be a Crip, man. And then you tap his ass, and other homies be like, "So what? He the homeboy now." Mm-hmm. So you accept the luggage of an individual as long as he's not a pedophile, a snitch, or a mark. He's the homeboy. And it was the same thing when you look at tribalism in the motherland. I may be a Watutsi, you may be a Zulu, you may kidnap me into your tribe, but I may earn the right to marry your daughter, who's a chieftain's daughter, and become a noble figure in your tribe, and I acclimated to your tribe, and it was acceptable. So tribalism is us as a people has existed. It's just, and even on the murder tip, unfortunately, but when we came to this country and lost our complete identities, we associated ourselves with structures because at that time, due to 1930s, when Franklin Delano Roosevelt made the New Deal, and they said, okay, all you sisters, you can get AFDC, but you can't have a man in the house. So that knocked a big dent in us. So now as young men, we gravitated toward gang structures, which was a camaraderie, and then older homeboys, father figures, or guidance, let's not say fathers. And then that was all fine and dandy, but it wasn't on the level it was on today. But then when they introduced feminism and they told all the sisters, y'all come on into this feminism too. So when these Europeans invited these sisters into the feminism, which they initially didn't want to do, now the sisters begin to get jobs in the workforce that we'd rather have that negress or that sister as opposed to that Negro. So now we're meeting what's called the equal opportunity because we have a person of color. We have a double whammy. She's a melanated person and she's a woman. So that further ostracizes us men in the household. So men, little boys, we ran amok in them streets. And we reverted back to that lower form of tribalism. So if we set hopped, as we said, we joined another tribe and it was acceptable.
That's real.
So
that's definitely real.
When you understand the psychological impact of us getting tricked on that ship. See, but then you have the Negroes that I've seen that say, well, we enslaved each other first. Yes, we did. The spoils of war. Yet we didn't do the atrocities of castrating a man, of breeding a man, of taking a woman's child and selling it.
Exactly.
We didn't do madness of branding a person. Yes, we did do what we did on tribal warfare. But hasn't every culture in this world, and even the culture bandits, the European, done the same thing? Except he just took it to a different level of barbarism. So it is what it is. So as far as us as structures, man, yeah, see, Mac, okay, you jump from here to here, but you found your home. I don't know him nothing but a stand-up 5'5". I don't know him as nothing but a stand-up neighborhood.
That's real. Yeah, definitely, and he definitely the face. You know, for them brothers, and just really, right now he kind of the face for the Crips because there's not a lot of Crips uh just blowing up like the way he is, you know, and the way he coming off is so original. Like the world is really, you know, rocking out with him, you know, globally. Like he got a lot of fans. You know, like I said, I'm from Chicago and I rock out with dude. You
Yeah,
know, I want to talk to myself.
but
You
we
know,
have a lot
so
of unsung heroes, but visually, he is the face of a turnaround on cripping. You know, and I'm not putting him in league with Snoop, but Snoop is too. See, it's a lot of things that Snoop do for the community people don't know about. And visually, though, you see CripMac out there doing things, and what people don't even notice what he's doing. Yeah, a lot of people feed the homeless, but how many of them you see grab the homeless and give them a hug?
right,
That's a major
that's
difference.
real. So you know, and so you know, you brought that up, and I want to elaborate on that a little bit with Snoop because Snoop, you know, some brothers look at him like he a real.
I'm just
You know, I wait for the
playing one on
airplane to
my
go
head.
by. I hear the airplane. Yeah, yeah.
But now I'm listening
No,
to you, Snoop.
yeah.
What?
What I was going to say is, yeah, I have seen some people say Snoop Dogg is one of the realest Crips to come out of California. Then I have seen some brothers say he just an entertainment Crip, that he never really was a real Crip like that, that he just entertainment, and that, you know, that's how he is, just a celebrity Crip. He never was a real Crip like that, you know,
Okay,
active.
I'm gonna put it on the table just like this. First off, Snoop is a rolling 20s Long Beach Crip, uncut without a doubt. Not because he's Snoop Dogg, but because he's Snoop from that neighborhood. Okay, he branded himself. What is part of his brand? A rolling 20s Crip out of Long Beach. What did I say earlier? Carver Park is my foundation. The universe is my destination. Rolling 20s Long Beach Crip is his foundation. Okay, the universe is his destination. That's one. Now let's go two. Snoop did his little time in the county jail for a dope sale. Fortunately, he didn't go to the pen at that time. He
Right?
called drug diversions, what have not. And then he got out and was discovered as a rapper. So blew up away from rolling 20s, but wasn't negligent. Pulled some people up. However, it turned out that's their business. I don't know, but he pulled some people up first and foremost from Long Beach. That's the first thing he did to get them actually getting some of his money. He never denied his roots. He never stopped representing it. And he showed that, yes, I have these origins, but look what I am today. So between him and CripMac, and I'm not putting him in the same category because they're two different day apples and oranges, but what they're showing the dude, even the young gangbanger that's confused and feels like he doesn't have a way out, is look at me. I got up out of it.
That's real. That's real. Yeah, Snoop definitely a success story. You know, he's came from the hood and he
The
didn't
brand.
man, he been in movies. He didn't put so many people on, like he didn't cross so many different borders. He was on TV shows with Martha Stewart,
Okay, and now
cook
speaking
shows,
on
you
him,
know?
since we speaking on him, I'm gonna say this. I had the privilege of actually meeting the guy about 7, 8 weeks ago. Right.
Mm,
And okay, then I had action at hooking up with him again a couple of weeks after that. I watched this man who was supposed to be here for 30 minutes take 3 hours, and everybody from basically the custodian to the college professor that was present. He talked to him, had a kind word for him, had a smile for him, and took a picture with him.
mm.
And then he and I were hollering about something. I said to him, look, man, look at all these people that want to talk to you. I can catch you another time. We hollered. We went down memory lane on something that blew his mind that I knew about. And I said, I'll catch you at another time. We'll set it up at another date, man. You meeting and greeting all these people that you don't have to. That ain't nothing but respect. And until everyone that wanted to deal with him in the environment that we was in dealt with him, That's when he left.
Mm.
So to me, that says volumes about that man's character. Because that man is a multi-millionaire. And it was like, I don't have to say nothing to you dudes. I came here to get 30 minutes of my time to this and I'm out of here.
Hold up.
That man stayed until 3 o'clock. I mean, for 3 hours.
Mm.
So I don't have nothing things to say about him. See, because when you're part of a structure, it's just like a job field. If you're a graphic designer and I'm the computer tech, you're the designer. That's the custodian at the company. That's the numbers cruncher at the company. Everyone has their role in their job. It's the same thing in the structure of the background I come from. You have your shooters, you have your car thieves, because it's a criminal structure, so I'm just speaking of criminal elements of it. You have your players, you have your burglars, you have your forgers, and so forth. So, okay, maybe Snoop's role in his structure wasn't to be the killer.
Okay.
Maybe his role was, I'm the homeboy that we fight when we go to high school, when we go to football games, when we go to concerts. I'm the homeboy that's there to lend my support on throwing a few blows. I'm the homeboy that on the block, I got the burner, but ain't nobody pushed up. I ain't never been tested with it, or I have been tested with it. I don't know his business. And then all of a sudden I get action and making multi-millions. So maybe it's a gift that he was at the right place at the right time and has the actual street cred of belonging to one of the tribes and was able to blow up on a global scale and to show other tribes that if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. Hey, I definitely took that type of inspiration and motivation from Snoop at the end of the day, because like we all seen him go through his trials and tribulations, with murder cases, and they try to belittle him and try to degrade him, from speaking about women to smoking the weed to they just tried to penalize him from for a lot of different things, and he didn't rose above all that to show that, hey, I'm not the stereotypical black man that y'all try to put me as, and I'm definitely a black man with common sense, with knowledge, and a business-minded individual. I just come from a Crip neighborhood, and I represent where I'm from. At the end of the day, we just seen him on halftime Super Bowl show. One of the, it gets bigger than that, but I mean, he just doing phenomenal things and still bringing Crippin' with him. He not forgetting his roots. He actually showing brothers, look, you could be a Crip and still do something positive and productive with your life. You know what I'm saying? And not just the Crips, he just showing everybody that, because everybody know his background. Yeah.
Something, man. I'm gonna show you how vicious these people are. I'm not saying she's not right. I'm not saying she's wrong, because I don't know, and I don't, I'm not elaborating on that. You have a woman that came out the woodwork with allegations against him. Okay? Now, we all know this is a capitalistic society for monetary purposes. First off, you could have back-channeled him. And if he would have felt it's better to pay you to make you go away and sign a non-disclosure and this, that, and another, so be it, if that's what he felt. But here it is. This man just purchased, or he's the face of death row. And people say, well, he can get this, get that. Let me explain something to you. Death row is going to dominate the game. That's one. Every young rapper with raw talent is going to be beating down that door. So he doesn't need the masters. He doesn't need this. He doesn't need that. He's like a farmer at the harvest time. He can pick the best of the crop that he wants. But here it is, comes these allegations. Why now? Prior to Super Bowl, why now? Death row. Okay, Super Bowl touched 50 million people globally, minimum. So let's put it out there that he did something to a woman. So now the powers that be, let's try to deter people from messing with death row. See, I read between the lines.
Yep, I seen it.
Because it would have been easy to say, man, here go 5 million, shut up, get out of my face. And you ain't never had 500,000. You saying I did something to you years ago. Why are you popping up now? When I'm at the pinnacle of success in another.
That's right.
So see, I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm not saying she's right. I'm not judging opinion on that. I'm saying the timing is off.
Right, yeah, the timing is very suspect on why things happening right at the pinnacle of this guy's career. Yeah.
And at the pinnacle of him purchasing that something's going to be a power. See, Death Row is about to become the Motown. And see, now the piggyback on something you said earlier. Yeah, they were saying he had a lot of misogyny in him on women and this, that, and another. But watch this, man. To paraphrase a homeboy of mine, when the Nation of Islam came into its top power in the 60s, what it did was show black men. It took all the junkies, all the pimps, the whores, and everyone else, and said, you can be this, you can be economically sound, and still pride in us as a people again. So it was at the right time, at the right place for that era, right? Now, what I'm using is a parallel. He may have said B's and H's and the N words in his rap lyrics, and ain't no fun if the homies can't have none, or whatever, however, whatever songs, and so on and so on. But that was appropriate at that time for capitalistic record sales. So I'm not the same man I was a month ago, 2 months ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We're in a constant state of evolvement, whether we want to accept it or not. If we're full of buffoonery, we evolve to more buffoonery. If we're in pursuit of a quest of knowledge, we evolve into that. So we manifest every day into something new. So that was then, this is now. So you can't throw that in his face. And so in the way I used the nation was simply at that point in time, in this country, that was needed for brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it may not be applicable today to a lot of people, but then it was needed. So it's the same thing when he was saying B's and H's in the 90s and talking about murder was the case they gave me and so on and so on. That was appropriate then for the capitalistic gain because that was hot. That's what was selling. And you could bet your last dollar to a donut the Europeans had their hand in a lot of it.
Definitely.
Perhaps, I don't know, distributions, so on and so on. Even though Death Row was doing what Death Row was doing, it was a very lucrative and rich company. But you can bet your last dollar to a donut, then Europeans had their hands up into some type of way. And see, so with everything he learned through trial and error, Death Row is going to be phenomenal. Because he's going to surround himself with the right people. Because he had firsthand knowledge of what happens when you don't surround yourself with people. Hell, that man rubbed shoulders with Martha Stewart.
That's real. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm saying that I'm saying it because of her business mentality.
Businessman. Yes.
Doesn't
See,
matter
that was business mentality.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. He
I
did some things.
and then by being able to witness in a private setting how he conducts himself, and you can see a person's true character because they say the eyes are the windows to the soul. And not once did his eyes say, here we go with this bullshit again. Damn, I'll be glad when this is over. It was no type of calm or demeanor like that. And as a man who's been, unfortunately, self-imposed obstacles in my life and been in the positions that I've been in life, you read body languages. You read the eyes. You read facial expressions. You read everything because it's detrimental to your health in the environments that I've been in. So in reading that man, now that man has positivity flowing out of him. I know I made it, but I ain't no better than you. But yeah, I'm chipped out. But if you come with something lucrative and concrete, I'm willing to help you, bro. I ain't giving you a handout, but I'll give you a hand up. I done gave all my handouts. That's
real. That's definitely real. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. Showing a brother how to fish. Not just giving them the fish, but, showing them how to fish,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with that at the end of the day. So with that being said, I done heard a couple different things. Majority all positive, but you got a hater out there, man, who be throwing your name around here and there, brother by the name Whack 100. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so not to get this guy too much time on this interview, but can you just elaborate on what is his problem with you, or what's going on with that, man? Because he done said your names a couple times. He didn't put some things out there in the cipher. If you want to build on it, you can. If you don't even want to talk about the brother, you don't even got to. It's all on you.
Hold up. I'm about to plug my battery and my battery's going low. So I got to get a plug for my battery real quick. I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I definitely can hear you.
I got to go in here. And let me grab me another 0-0 because y'all know I don't drink, but I love the taste of beer. So I get my 0-0 Heinekens, man. You know, no alcohol.
That's right.
You know, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't get high, I don't do anything. You
Are
know.
you a vegetarian?
Nah, but I don't eat swine. I watch what I eat. You know. So let me plug this joint up, and we'll get on the whack 100 because you know I don't.
All right, nah, I love G. Hey, we waiting for Bro to come back.
Okay, we here now.
Definitely.
Let me flip this over, and okay, I'll entertain now. What was you saying?
I was saying if you want to just elaborate a little bit on
Whack 100.
WAC 100, what's going on with that situation?
All right, what's going on with that situation is this, man. You steadily tearing down brothers that are trying to make it. That's the first thing. All right. Then you steadily putting jackets on dudes, calling this dude a snitch, that dude a snitch, but you don't have any paperwork to back it up. You a dude that, you know, I don't care what you say about me because this is what you need to know about me. I frequent them same circles. So I'm not with that BS of social media spats calling you out of your name or anything of that nature. You know, do your background check on me. You know, I am who I am. Paperwork Cleaning Board of Health. Brian Daniel Berkeley Sr., a.k.a. OG Bry-Dee, a.k.a. OG Brydog, Bones Loke, never made a statement, never will. From the initial time I went to prison to my sentencing transcripts, you can read all that about me. Yeah, and 3 times in the Philly courts, 9th District, LexisNexis, Lexus mobile app, Fine Law, Westlaw.com, Brian Darnell Berkeley, Brian with an I. Look me up. Solid. Cleaner than the Board of Health when it comes to that idiotic shit. Multiple homicides, not proud of them. All that bullshit. So everything that I am, you wish you were in that street life. That's what it is with whack. You know, constantly tear down brothers. And by constantly tearing down brothers, you know, so and like I told the brother to his face, I think you're a social media marketing genius because you are the Jerry Springer of social media with sensationalism. But you're not the voice of the West Coast. You don't represent all the Damus on the West Coast. You do you. Not hating on you. You always throwing how much money you have in people's faces. Dude, you couldn't even buy a house on my block. That'll be all your $3 million gone. On my block. I live in Playa del Rey. You couldn't even buy a house on my block. You'd be in debt. You'd have to mortgage your trucks. So all that money shit don't mean nothing to me. You ain't got a clue. You know, so my problem with him is how he tears down brothers, and he have all these minions who've never lived our lifestyles. And you can be what you want to be on social media. You can be what you want to be in the anatomy of the where it's anonymous in those clubhouse rooms where you can put this picture up or that picture. Where you have this fake lawyer Phoenix who everything you say. You know, I would ask her, "Are you really a lawyer? Out of your last 20 cases, how many did you take to trial? And of those that you took to trial, how many of them did you beat?" Because that's what I used to ask lawyers. Or are you a paralegal? If you're a paralegal, do you shepherdize? Do you do it the old-fashioned way? Because I was a law clerk for 10 years, but I'm not a lawyer. But I can cite cases off the top of my head going back to 1911, 1908, you know, so things of that nature. So with him, it's just that prior to getting his the way he got it, and I'm not mad at him, don't hate the player, hate the game. You wasn't nothing in this game, bro. Your name wasn't ringing no bells. Don't nobody know you, bro. I got several cousins that are Pyrus. West Side Pyrus. I got cousins that started Cabbage Patch. So miss me, that are half Native, half Hawaiian, half black, or half Pacific Islander, half black. Mom Barbara got 13 kids. They put Cabbage Patch Pyrus on the map. My 2 little brothers are West Side Pyrus. My other brother, rest in peace, is a Park Village Compton Crip. My cousin Sam, Eric, and Slap Gibson, they reputable original West Side Pyrus. My cousin Troy Elam ran with Terry Carter, who unfortunately Suge Knight is locked up for allegedly, whatever.
Right.
Puddin ran with my cousin Troy. So when it comes to Pyrus, miss me. I've shot it out with the best of them, been shot by the best of them, been beat up by the best of them, and did a little bit of beating up on some of them. Because I told you I wasn't no damn fighter.
That's right.
So it's nothing that you could tell me. And then from his tribe, I know all the hitters. Because I associated with them dudes that was about their business and was representing that thing real tough. And his name didn't come up in the circles that the cats that I dealt with from his neighborhood, because the dudes I dealt with was all shooters. So my problem with him is you make it popular to say that's on this or on that, as if you're still an active participant in the streets. So you have all these clowns following you thinking that's cool. So if they got their grandson sitting in the room with them listening to the podcast that they own, and you're, that's on this, that's on that. Then that kid think that's cool. See, I have problems with dudes like that. Dude, you live in the suburbs of Antelope Valley. You don't live in the projects of Pacoima.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need street cred. You're a successful businessman. So when you start throwing these allegations on people and getting in other people's businesses, which is totally against our protocol, denigrating dudes from other geographical areas that you know nothing about because you've never experienced their way of life or hustled in their states as I have, or have had the honor of meeting other men that represent different tribes from different geographical areas. So you could put my name in your mouth all you want. Just watch how you put my name in your mouth. See, you can't call me broke. You can't say I'm not a reputable. You can't say I ain't never squeezed in that sick world that we come from. You can't say that I ain't never put in work in them stoops, because I put in work everywhere. I done medevac dudes. I done butchered dudes. I'm not proud of this madness. It's a senseless legacy. I done been up close and personal with the firearm. I done had shootouts with the firearm where I took 2 to the stomach before I could even pull mines out and do what I had to do. Then took 2 more. I've been through the ringer of all of that, man. So don't sit up here and say as if you got an outstanding pedigree. Your pedigree is your mouth. My pedigree was my actions as far as in that world. So, I don't knock capitalists, but all money ain't good money.
That's right.
When you hang around rats, or when you do business with rats, or when you say you would do business with a KKK if that would benefit you, you mean to tell me you would do business with a KKK who in turn take the money that he's made and then supply people to do something to people that are melanated people? That's what you said. So you said you really don't give a flying rat's ass about melanated people. Unless you was just that was a hypothetical to you, but it didn't sound like it when you said it. And here it is, you working with a rat, and you say that's cool, and you try to do everything about them, but you want to call everyone else a rat. But why aren't you looking at the elephant in your own room?
That's real. That's definitely real. I told Wack, I say, man, he want to talk to me about him being gangster, this and that. And I told him, I say, man, real gangsters don't talk to no snitches at the end of the day. I don't care how you try to dress it up. You try to put a pig on a wig. You can do whatever you want. At the end of the day, real gangsters, and it ain't even gotta, just brothers with morals and principles, ain't gonna sit down with a snitch, somebody who then get some people locked up, and this and all the stuff, all that. Ain't nobody gonna do that. So I expressed that to him, and I definitely agree with you on your stance of things. And I want to know, what is the next step for the United Streets, movement? What's the next step?
Well, our next step, man, is we about to initiate something called the Round Table. And we try to reach out to as many brothers in different urban communities as possible. And we're going to highlight what that brother's doing in this community, what's going on in this community, the nonprofits in this community, the entrepreneurs in this community, and what's developmental for us as a people in that community. And the reason we call it the Round Table is because everybody's equal in all chapters. You see, because the thing in the United States of America is we're controlling our narrative. We're using these platforms as a launching pad to eventually create everything that we're creating, from documentaries to music to things of that nature. But we're not looking for established individuals. We're looking for individuals that need that hand up, not the hand out. Everything we're doing is community orientated, man. You know what I'm saying? And the brothers, you know, the co-founder, myself, and Haywood, brother out of Georgia, Brunswick, Georgia, and then we incorporated a couple more brothers that are street brothers that have changed their ways around. And the reason we want street brothers is because I don't understand how a dude blows up and then he go get some European girl or some bougie ass sister who's had a silver spoon in her mouth all her life, but it's just as many bad broads from the environment that we come from. So I don't want some dude from corporate America when I could find corporate America from the hidden university, which is a prison, who's intellectually developed. I'm going to surround myself with anyone who's not intellectually developed. And it's all of us across the nation as brothers and our sisters. So with the round table, it's not excluding sisters, but it's all of us. So that's the next step for United Streets of America, and to jump back on our YouTube channel and to bounce from Clubhouse, because Clubhouse is becoming just full of rhetoric. Clubhouse is becoming buffoonery, and it's getting to a point where I don't even want to associate myself, other with the exception of 4 different rooms there. You know, United Streets of America's Compton Ready, UOD, the side show with my brothers from Northern California, and Ghost Regime. I believe those are 4 rooms that I really did. And Dante Brooks, he has another room, brother, you know, very knowledgeable brother. So I surfed some of the rooms, but with United Streets of America, man, we're gonna get our YouTube back popping the way it's supposed to be popping. We're looking for raw talent. We're looking to open up a publishing company. You know, we're doing everything that's pertaining to us as melanated people, man. Because see, our flowers, as the saying goes, they're gonna come naturally. We don't have to seek our flowers. Actually, our flowers are gonna be given hand-ups. So it's a lot that we have on our plate, man. We're about to start back up. I had a show called We Salute the Grind, in which I took melanated people out the community and let them highlight their entrepreneurship. You know, I give them a whole hour on the platform just to sell themselves and sell their wares and hawk what they do. You know, that's about to start back in 2 weeks. Me and a sister named Compton Princess, we're about to start our podcast. We have a few up-and-coming artists that we're looking into that perhaps we're going to, you know, help get deals.
That's right.
So it's a variety of things going with us, you know. And we have some alliances with certain people like Dante out of Tap In, CD Nash out of CD Nash, the brother in Neighborhood Real. Few more brothers, to say the least. You now, you know, you're another ally. You know, and what we doing, man, is trying to put one step in front of the other foot. You know, one foot in front of the other foot, taking steps for the community. And the community doesn't just encompass Compton; it encompasses all communities. You know, so we making strides, man. We call ourselves the Turtle, man. You know, because the turtle won the race. And to paraphrase my business partner, Melly Mel, of the Hood Postman, you know, which he has his own podcast. My other business partner, Gangster, has a OGENT TV. We have our diversity, but we have our collective. But to paraphrase Melly Mel, the Hood Postman, we building this airplane as we fly, man. See, this is new to us. You know, but we're not going to have no bickering, no name calling on our platform. So if that dude want to call me every name in the book, I don't give a fat rat's tail. When you see me, when you see my no fighting ass to my face and call me it, prepare to walk away with a fat lip or a black eye.
Actually, facts. That's real. That's definitely real. So, I mean, where can they find you at? Where can everybody on the platform and all the fans and everybody who want to rock out with you or who want to have an opportunity to chop it up with you or to get up with United Streets of America, where can they find you at and how can they link up with you?
Well, you know, the link, I guess you can put the link up. It's United Streets of America. You can download us on YouTube. Right now, they're mad at us on a Clubhouse because someone said in a respectful way about a Jewish person, just told your history didn't start until you people wrote the Torah. If you want to know facts, stop acting like you've been around forever. And then what you stole from the Kushite Empire, which are the Ethiopians. If you want to know history, roughly 20,000 years ago, the first human beings evolved with the phenotypical traits, which is albinism. See, the original man was us, melanated people. You know, and how can you predicate beauty of a woman on anything other than the original woman? So see, it's a good man as far as academically speaking, intellect. So when the European woman who, you know, she's still to be corrected, She decided to call some people and say we were Jewish bashing. Isn't that something? All the stuff they say on Clubhouse, they try to show the streets of America for informing a Jewish woman of when you really had a history.
Right.
You know,
I know about her.
all this whack can talk about me. He can talk about this person. Other people talk about me. I can talk about people if I chose to. And this person, I can call women all kind of B's and H's. But the moment you told a third world Zionist that you have no history until that book that you stole was written, and all of a sudden they want to censor us on Clubhouse. But you can find us on Compton. You know, I'm going to do it myself. Compton Ready. United Streets of America presents Compton Ready with OG Bry-Dee. I have another show that I'm about to do that's called Urban Real for Urban Realness. That's just going to, take stories of us in the urban areas and spit the realness and all the myths that people putting jackets on people saying this person's a snitch. See, I had 40 Glock on my show. I had Wack on the show too. And Wack was going in on 40, so I had to sit 40 in the corner because 40 was emotional. People was like, well, man, you act like, you were siding with Wack. No, I was being unbiased because I know tomorrow I'm going to have 40 on the show. And then he won't be upset. He won't say things that he would have said out of anger. So I had 40. So the next day I had him on the show. And I had him send me his paperwork before he came on the show. His criminal allegations are above and beyond. He did nothing wrong, said nothing wrong, didn't do anything. When Wax starts saying down with departure, that shows a person doesn't know the law. In the feds, and there are a couple of states that doctrine themselves after federal guidelines, such as Washington, such as Minnesota. Those are two, just to name a few, a couple. And you get a downward departure when you take acceptance of responsibility. They give you what's called 3 points downward departure, which can equate months off a sentence. So he received a downward departure for accepting responsibility. Now, as far as the other issue, see, what people don't know, there were men with firearms when Game was filming him and socking him. How you gonna be socking a man with one hand and holding the cell phone, filming it with the other hand?
Right.
A gangbanger, and who ain't gonna defend himself. But when them thumpers are out of view of that camera, it's like, damn, man, this motherfucker's socking me out, man. I can't do shit. They gonna probably dump me out. Okay, so we give them that. Okay, you bow down. So what? Okay, who cares? We wasn't there. So with that being said, if Washington walked up to me today and bust me in my nose, the capitalist that I am, I'm falling on the ground. I'm going to a therapist. I'm saying I'm having nightmares. Every time I look at my nose, I have a complex. I need an operation. We'll give you 5.4 million. Shut up. Sure. Give it in. I'll take it.
That's right. Give me that bag.
So that has nothing to do with one thing. When you go to legalities of initiating litigation, that's not snitching. If that was the case, then Harry O wouldn't have Death Row back. He took Suge Knight to court. What was he supposed to do? Send somebody to stab him, shoot him, kill him? This is a multi-million-dollar corporation that you funded. And the man wanted to tell you, kiss his ass. All right, my lawyer talked to yours. That's not snitching. Now, if Harry O and Suge Knight were both selling heroin, and Harry O got caught and said, well, Suge selling heroin over there too, that's snitching.
That's snitching, right, definitely.
If 40 Glock had a criminal case with Gang and Whack 100 and told on him, he's a snitch.
That's snitching, right.
He sent me his criminal paperwork. I brought him on my platform. He understood why I temperamented him the night before, and I let him have free rein for over an hour and some change. I did the same thing with Yael. Because you can't put a person on the platform with Whack 100 because he's going to overtalk him based on the Napoleon complex, which is a short man complex. Right. Talking loud, saying nothing. So I let you have your way because I'm unbiased. Because I'm securing my manhood. I'm securing who I am. See, I'm a man that'll sit up and tell you I done took L's and I done took W's. Physically, fighting. So that don't mean nothing to me. If a motherfucker put me on my back, I'm going to congratulate his ass. But you can bet your last dollar to a donut if I can catch you slipping at 2:30 in the morning on a Thursday in the alley, ass out. But other than that, I'm going to buy you a drink, shake your hand, and hey, it's all gravy, baby. You did that. But if he's a homeboy of mine from my neighborhood coming up the way we come up, you have to accept your L's. You can't go to the gunplay, you know.
That's right.
So, like I said, so with him, is he put them false allegations on people, man, without understanding. I heard him say, I spent $500 on some paperwork. How do you spend $500 on some paperwork that's 35 cents a page from the courts up under the Freedom of Information Act?
Right.
What kind of paperwork was that? Was that some platinum paperwork, some gold paperwork? What the hell? Was that paperwork on the stock market or something? What the hell are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
None of that junk flies with me. So that's my problem. Yeah, he's going to have my name in his mouth. He's going to put my name in his mouth and this, that, and the other and all that. And I don't care. You won't get a response out of me because I'm secure in who I am.
That's real.
You
That's
don't even
definitely
want
real.
to respond. So I don't spend too much time on him. So that's my beef with that dude, man. It's not really a beef.
Okay.
It's just a dislike of how he conducts himself. But I will say it in landing, as we say on Clubhouse on him, the motherfucker, and that's what I said, is a social media marketing genius when it comes to sensationalism.
Mm.
It's Jerry Springer of Clubhouse. And Jerry Springer had a 25-year run. But I just think, this is just my personal opinion, and I will land on this. Watch what you saying, dude. Your mouth is going to write a check that your ass can't cash because certain dudes and certain geographics are not forgiving.
Actual facts.
That's just some advice.
I've been told him that. I've been told him that. You know, he tried to act like he didn't know what I was talking about. You know, but I talked to him about it. You know, at the end of the day, you know, brothers need to use their voice to help brothers instead of belittling brothers and breaking brothers down. You know, it's already hard enough for, like you say, melanated brothers and sisters out here just living an everyday life trying to survive and things of that nature. So, you know, for that brother to use his sources, his voice, you know, his power that he do have to, you know, belittle brothers and expose brothers and do all the things he's doing at the end of the day, you know, it's a discredit toward our people, man. You know, at the end of the day, you got to help brothers, you know, build themselves up, not destroying them. So I'm in agreement with that. You know, so you say you got United States, like, okay, so you got
United Streets.
United Streets of America. You got California, you got a Georgia division. What other divisions do you have around the country to give the people a outlook on, you know, how
Currently,
y'all
we're in talks with in Texas and a couple more states we navigating. See, like I said, we build an airplane as we fly. I've made some positive contacts on Clubhouse on the back channels. You know, to be honest with you, and not no big means of little use. I've gotten 4 brothers jobs that start off $18 an hour. You know, so I've been doing my thing on the back channel, and I've met a lot of people on the back channel. So I'm in the process of getting a side apartment that I'm turning into an office tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm moving into there tomorrow, and I'm really specifically making it an office and where I have, you know, encounters because I don't really allow too many men into my home. You know, you really, really have to be like this with me to come into my home. You know, so now the ball is going to start rolling because tomorrow I'm putting everything into the place that needs to be put in there and so on and so on. And then we're going to start initiating. And look, based on me talking to you, no matter what geographic you may reside in right now, you still have strong ties to Chi-Town.
Definitely.
So, you know, and then plus I know cats in Chi-Town, but in the same token, you can direct me. So when you say what cities are, this is what we're doing right now. We network.
That's right. That's what it's about, networking.
It's the round table that's already in the midst, just has to be manifested. That's in Chicago, Peoria, and Rockford with the right individuals that set guys down and females down and like, what are you doing in the community? What needs to be corrected? What are we doing to bridge gaps here, that, and another? What money is being allotted from the state mandated money that we can take advantage of to do this for that and this, that, and winter's fast approaching. So Illinois is already there. It just has to be manifested.
Facts. That's real.
So, and as I meet guys on back channels in Clubhouse, you know, my brothers from the East Coast, my brothers from the Midwest that I'm meeting, you know, and I'm finding out that they like-minded individuals because sometimes I sit in those rooms and I don't say nothing and I listen to dudes. We can shoot the shit. You can say, oh, Peanut has a head ass Bry because we cool like that. I'm like, all right, look at you with them 4 eyes, mister.
That's
and
right.
We can get right on to, man, did you hear what happened in my city? That woman needs a GoFundMe. Can you think you can get it jumping on the West Coast? How much does she need? What's the monetary object? Okay, I'll kick it off and I'll start it off with 400 myself and I'll let the people that follow me know. If you can do anything from $40 to $400, put it in there. And then we can go back to, but I like them glasses you got on, boy. You know,
That's
so
real.
some of the clubhouses that I sit in, I watch them where they go from where we joke with each other to where they joke with each other and they do productive things for each other. And those are the brothers, like-minded individuals. When I listen to them speak, that I saw out and I back channeled with. So it's a lot of different things as far as the roundtable being initiated and how we're going to do it nationwide.
That's real. Can you just elaborate before we close out a little bit on the laws that I think a lot of young brothers don't have knowledge on when it comes down to the firearms and the videos and how the government utilize those type of laws against them?
Okay, I seen a video today that was disturbing to me as an older man called, I'm not going to say the name of it.
Right.
The young brothers were out of Chicago. It's drill music. I finally had to figure out what the hell is drill music. They had all kind of firearms. Okay? And I'm going to say this to you so y'all can understand it. You can get mad. Maybe because you get mad, this word induce you to listen. You dumb, stupid ass motherfuckers. You stupid ignoramuses. Showing them firearms online, the feds will come and give you a stupid, silly ass a case, which is called a 922. A fucking firearm. They will get you affected interstate commerce on that pistol because the bullets was made in Missouri and the gun is in Illinois. The handle was made in California and the gun is in Illinois. They call that interstate commerce. They will book you. They will give you a minimum of 5 years for that firearm and a maximum of life because you showed it on a video and it is not a prop. And if you don't believe me, they've done so many reverse things where they've locked brothers up for showing firearms or saying we want to buy these guns or we have these guns. Same thing with CI, Snitch Eye, TI, Tip. He didn't tip them off on somebody because there ain't no way you can get that amount of time. It don't matter how much money you got. The feds have unlimited resources, billions upon billions of dollars. You conspired to buy a machine gun, a silencer, handguns, and a variety of other guns. You should have walked away with a minimum of 15 years alone just for what's called statute. So you dudes that are running around out there, you want to have a pistol, you want to brandish it, that's automatic 7 years in a violent crime. That's automatic 84 months ran bow-legged. You want to run around here, you want to have a zip of this on you and a zip of that on you and a firearm. That's called an 841 right there, which is a life sentence for a damn couple of ounces of crack or meth or whatever and a firearm. So you dudes on them videos and showing them firearms, the feds is going to come pick you up when they ready to pick you up. And you wonder, what am I going to jail for? That's why so many broke dudes in the feds now, because all them cats are in there for firearms or robbing mom and pop stores because the cheese was manufactured in Wisconsin. That's called interstate commerce. It's called a 1951 Hobbs Act, which gives you from 0 years to 20 years for robbing a mom and pop store because some of the food in the mom and pop store was made in another state. So I'm just saying to you dudes out there, think you're getting away with something. When they ready to put that hammer down on you and enough is enough, they're going to hit your ass with 922s and 924s if you are in videos showing them firearms, man. See, the nation is getting fed up with Chicago. I ain't got nothing against Chicago. But the nation is getting fed up with Chicago because they're sensationalizing Chicago and showing this many murders, this many shootings. The drill music is responsible for this. The drill music is this, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So eventually, they're going to say, we got to do something, and they're going to call in the feds. And they're going to look at all them old videos where it's 10, 15 of y'all. And then out of that 10 to 15 of y'all, 4 of you going to tell for sure. And tell about stuff they didn't know about. See, because you young brothers don't look at first 48 snitches. Y'all don't look at that black woman who every time she says, oh, talk to you like she's your big sister. And then she come out, yes, we got him. He's never going home. Because don't none of y'all know 2 words. Best statement is no statement. That's a phrase. And the 2 words is lawyer. When they didn't hear you, you say it again. Lawyer. You can't beat them if they don't know what they've been doing for 20 years. So I'm just saying on the laws, man. Drugs, 841. Look it up. 924, firearm. 922, firearm. Interstate commerce. 1951 Hobbs Act. 371 is the conspiracy. They hit everyone with that in the feds. If you discussed it or you were around it, you conspired. And see what you dudes don't understand, and I'm going to land on this. When you dudes go to trial or sitting in the feds and they get ready to take you to trial, they don't pull from the driver's department on the driver's license. They do it on who's the registered voters. And the majority of people they pull as registered voters aren't from your community. They're Republicans. So when them Europeans walk in there, the vast majority of them, or them conservatives, and they see your melanated ass sitting down, they say, I wonder what he did. Or I wonder what she did. And the fights start right there to prove that you're innocent. But already in their heads is, I wonder what he or she did. Because he wouldn't or she wouldn't be in jail if she didn't do nothing.
That's real.
Y'all better get up on that, and y'all better get up on Westlaw, FindLaw, LexisNexis, and Lexis Mobile. When somebody tell you somebody snitching, if you can't download the app to your phone, which is Lexis Mobile, go to your public library, and you can download anything for free on the individual you want to know about. You type in the circuit they from and their full name.
That's
and
real.
whatever comes up, and if anything says government requests to be filed under seal, or anything says government requests, run away from that person. Because if the government requests anything about anybody that has anything to do with you, that means that person is working for the government and they're requesting to protect that person. Well, that being said, that's all I can tell you about the laws, man. Look at the buffoon right here, because I was a buffoon, man. I'm not proud I walked down 18 straight years. That was utter foolishness, man. Foolishness. So don't get caught up, man. That's all I can tell you.
That's
I ain't
wisdom.
denounce where you're from. I'm just saying don't get caught up.
That's real. Everybody take heed to the words that the brother's saying, man. You know, so with that being said, I appreciate you coming on the platform, brother. You know, we're going to have a lot of different bills. This is not the first time. We're going to stay in contact.
I'll pass one across.
Oh, definitely. You're more than welcome to come back on Flacco Santana TV anytime, anything you got going on the community-wise, business-wise, or you just got some wisdom you want to bring to the platform, you're more than welcome. And we're going to link up, bro. We're going to keep this connected, bro, and keep it moving.
All right, peace out, man. Love y'all to life, man. My people.
Hey, also, everybody who watching me, go on Flacco Santana TV on YouTube, Flacco Santana TV 2 as well. Y'all go ahead and subscribe. That's where this interview going to drop at. It's going to be on all social media platforms. Look up this brother, check him out, subscribe to his page, rock out with the brother, and help the brother change the narratives in the community. Anything else you want to say, OG, before we go?
United Streets of America, Compton ready. Soon coming back to Clubhouse Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. United Streets of America, our YouTube channel. We salute the grind, highlighting melanated people out of our community and a variety of other subjects. The Red Pill Gang, which covers us. The Atlantic Child Murders, which my boy does, and he's been covering real tough for X amount of years. And that's about it, man. Just check out United Streets of America, man. Check out our old footage, man. And subscribe to our channel, man, and hit the like.
That's what it is. Appreciate you, bro. We'll chop it up.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Yes, sir.
Man.